said rain evaporates quickly, and so too does my attention. The quantum entanglement talk went off the rails while she searched for the matte black nail polish. So far, unraveling her thighs is all right, but checkout is at 10, and I feel like the end confirms the beginning never started. Each morning, she tells me to use her as a canvas for my disillusionment, my deconstruction. Her red lipstick on the mirror intertwines with popping veins, popping Xanax, popping out the window screen to run into a horde of strangers. The strings of her smile spool around my depression dip. And I danced in front of the painting. It did not move, did not scream, and she watched the wolves wondering where the wander as we slept. Is my heart still in this life? The half-cut-away bridge fits like a throne under the summer rain. I sit alone with no voices, no clacking thimbles, watching the graffiti train stop traffic to offer sailor salutations. And the engines rev and rev and rev, turning over the politics of it all. Socially relevant tropes duct taped to our wrist as we write. Culture is to blame. We rush and rush and rush until we stall. Until I stall. She smacks a band sticker on my head. There's a party at midnight and we dare each other to fall in love with each person we see. Now there can't be any kissing, but loose-lipped lovers passing cigarettes to ditch baby lullabies is romantic, and a true love is about dissipation type of way. Together we let the night unravel into a manic mosaic. And then the party lacked archetypes. And then the party examined our rootlessness. And then we left the party with entropic scars, retreating to stem music on the side of the road where galaxies of cars pass to a home unknown. It is morning. She stands in front of the mirror with my hand on her bare hip and ghost whispers, "I hope your heart is still in this life." Thank you, guys. My name's Aaron Quinn. I'm a local poet. I throw paint on canvas sometimes. I run Walnut Street. And welcome to the Poetry Pit. Walnut Street's super excited to introduce this to Chattanooga, introduce this to poetry lovers. We find it quite humbling how well Chattanooga supports poets. So I want all you guys to give yourself a hand for being here on Friday night. Also, I'm talking because I feel so nervous that I might fall off this stool. So, but man, I'm so honored you guys are here to support poetry and to support this brand new venture. One morning before I read this title, my titles are insane. I get really bored and my ADHD kicks in when I write them. So you're just gonna have to bear with me a little bit. This next one's called, "I Might Be an Emo Girl Trapped in a Hobbit's Body." I might be a water buffalo running through a drought. Or maybe I'm a splintered window that leaks when it rains. All I know is popcorn and horror movies make the best date nights, and if you cannot write a screamo song about haunted houses, we might not be friends. Around here, we count our nights by kaleidoscopic ambiguity. Empty chairs where bad moon stares can come and sit, beside blender tongues and amongst scarecrow orations, beside post-beat wanderers crawling through windows, through disgorged religion, shattering thumb joints to bend the pen over beer-stained paper, who carried a supernatural gleam into Chattanooga's foggy downtown, jumping off fire escapes and unwinding with lit cigarettes used as flashlights. Around here, the glycerin hours gain taste like soaked in backwoods moonshine. Crushed hip bones slur through vulnerabilities. Crackling cider drops on knotted wood slabs split like an axe through stubborn logs. My words fade. Primal, sage. When the moon takes me, I always return on Tuesday. like stepping out of Lazarus' tomb into crematorium ovens, amongst those inspired by severed arms thrown while standing on guardrails, amongst those who are the nation of art and refuse to forget indentations about train hopping through America, amongst clutch-clanking glasses and shuffled feet over boiling floors. Around here is a soft bite with much to chew. Stealing is the only moral way to get books. Around here, the crowd clears, then rises again when the tide is too unsettled to stay distant. This night is my body. Our Dolores bones hold stillness captive, them the kicks, and we still have brains to smash. Among those who listen with gluttonous ears and broken shears used to cut the weeds off faith, who have hair falling to hide the hiking scar until the lines expose the vulnerability of unspoken umbrella escapes out the back. All hummingbirds fly away, but some come back. Around here, I saw the best minds of a generation who devoured fire and threw miles of molten rhetoric, of perforced daydreams, of flowers burning during the day, who stood clothed with liminal eye beams, staring down the hall, who wrote with double zombie hunger. A thundering boom of art burrowed under Tuesday's skin, bargained for freedom in the mud, swallowed us up in ritualistic joy. Around here, we are not sheep lost in the fog. We're those whose jaws hold a boulder filled with agitated fruit flies, whose words are painted on a mildewed wall covered by neon pink spray paint aesthetic, whose sledgehammers break the will so it can no longer steal. Around here, we are poetry. This night is my body. Consume it in remembrance of me. So that one talks a lot about Tuesday night. Raise your hand if you go to Tuesday night poetry. These are the real homies. Every night, every throwdown, every time you mention poetry, these homies show up. And we are doing this night because of you guys, because of how you support us and how you love us through our process. Man, it's so dope you're here. Again, give yourself another round. I can't say that. You guys are the real troopers here.
And I've got a question for you.
What up?
So you've talked to me a little bit about like your personal fixation on the beat generation.
Yeah.
And I picked up on the turn of phrase when you were talking about, I saw the best minds of my generation, which is a line from Howl.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about like your inspiration for the beats and how that colors your personal writing.
Yeah, so one of the things that you experience with the beat writers is that they infuse language with passion. Everything they do, they attack with passion. They attack every word with meaning and they infuse it. But they also understood how to notice what was going on around them. And everything that was going on around them felt like it had enormity. And I think in our world today, a lot of day-to-day just lacks enormity because of how the world is consuming us instead of us consuming life. And so I'm constantly surprised and inspired by how enormity just drips out of every line of the beats and how they continually just pursued that enormity in the mundane things. And that's what I hope to do. I hope I can have just a modicum of the passion for language they did, and I hope that somehow that passion for life that they have seeps onto the page as I write. Yeah, that's a dope question. Thank you. All right. Cool if I read one more? Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. I was really hoping somebody would say no. Like I wanted you to be like, nah, get off. I'm done. This is ridiculous.
Did your first poem have a name?
It did. Yes.
I'd love to hear it.
Okay, so the first one, hearkening back, maybe my phone will cooperate, was called, "Can someone please talk to me about emo music, armadillos that like metal music? Because I've spent the last week listening to the left and right pontificating how they definitely know more than the other. Remember, kids, say no to propaganda, and true love waits for an epic breakdown in proper music tastes." So that was the first poem. This is the last, and the title for it. This is a title. I've written a poem every week for the last 2 years, and that is way too many titles. And titles can work as spoilers or a distraction. Someone once spoiled Death Note for me, and I vowed never to be that level of ass. So I guess I'll let the title be a distraction of how many times I say title. But maybe I'll just say Sugar, We're Going Down, because a title can also be the start to a great disaster. The magnolias did not bloom this year. We watched through the screen door with no lock, held breath anticipating, contemplating how to wait on life. Our lungs hurt. Grass blades knife cut our thighs when we do yoga around the fire pit. With funeral smells and deadpan ash pile, we stared on our backs. You talk studies of pots and flowers and roots. There are watercolors drying in the refrigerator. I do not wish to eat today. The act feels gratuitous. But now when there are so many broth-thin creeks I have not crossed. Who's coming through the door? Do they have a face because they have a name, or a name because they have a face? Do they sense the mundanity caked under my fingernails? A dead chant needs to start with a voice on fire. I never know if my art is good or bad. I only understand it as my flesh liberated from convention. We swallow pills under the buzz of mosquito traps. Fiasco frescoes not caring if there is a solid enough story to go to the printer. You were a threat to the mildness, coming in the room like a nocturnal apparition in all black with fireball red makeup. I am in my life. I do not know how to escape, but you can claw and scratch and run, but instead you collapse into a sheet on the floor. My tongue likes the iron taste on your cut thighs. Do you think we could drive around for an hour? Maybe we can afford hot and sour soup and worry later if the paycheck lasts all month. We sit at the top of a turret, aggrandizing millions and millions of ghosts. The storm's wind tries to tear us down. Your private smile searches for oxygen, pointing at a derelict factory with a collapsed roof. I want to be forgotten, like the tresses sagging from the rain. You pull me back to the car and dare me to go to a town where no one knows our name. In case you never noticed, I like how you love broken things and hold contradictions like they are a lilac seed ready for planting. Ventilate our veins, aerate our scars. That is just it. We only exist right now in front of the rusty door. The gold-rimmed dishes stay in the cabinet while we are away, trying to disappear with makeshift rucksacks in the west of the 40s that is no longer there. I'm no longer there. I'm no longer here. You prefer it that way. A half-seen apparition leaves more for the imagination. There is carnage of absence as we ascend an uncouth hill to view graffiti train cars. In an effort to stoke the madness, in an effort to swell harder in your grip, in an effort to block the cosmic eye, we keep the carnage on our lips, knowing surely there will be more flowers, another barefoot summer. Messes strewn with a string of carnage to epoxy memory in search of abandoned roads with Patti Smith cassettes playing. The rolled down windows smell like whiskey breakfast sunrises. You kick Claire Oxford out the window and scream. There are entire worlds hidden in forgotten things. Y'all are super dope for being here. Thank you. What's up?
I have a question. So, you meant each of your 3 wonderful titles have mentioned music in some way, shape, or form, and I sense like an inherent musicality to the beats and rhythms of your poems and the way you put them in. You even mentioned them at least once or twice in each of them. So, what sort of relation does music have to you and to your art and poetry?
So one of the things that fascinates me about music is the intentionality of it. Part of what I'm not always a fan of with contemporary poetry is some of it feels like it lacks that intentionality. So the intentionality of lyricism and melody and stuff play a huge role. And I'm always listening to music when I write. It tends to be either 1975 or Hot Mulligan or somebody screaming at me, not a whole lot in between. And so a lot of it influences me because it teaches me to be very intentional with my word choice and my metaphors and the rhythm inside of it. So, anything else? Because I'd love to get off the stage. Again, thank you guys so much for being here, and welcome to Chattanooga's first Poetry Day.